Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of eXhuming the X-Files here on the Outpost Unknown YouTube channel. The show where we do what, Jeremy?
We exhume the X Files.
Yeah, we talk about it every episode all the way through
Yeah.
season 11. Every week, every Friday. So, as we do with all of the seasons, when we wrap them up, we don't immediately go into the next thing. We always do our top 5 best and worst. Obviously, we finished up with season 5 last week. We are going to go. The next episode will be talking about the movie Fight the Future, where I think both of us were very excited to see what our recollections of that are. Right.
Yes. Yes,
Now,
sir.
now you are not going to watch that in 480p, right? Because it was intended to be seen on the big screen. You cannot watch that in 480p.
I will not watch it in 480p. I will maximize the resolution at a movie.
Cool. So yeah, hit that like and subscribe because next week we're going to go right into Fight the Future. So that'll be real fun to revisit. But obviously, we've gone through season 5. We're going to talk about what we thought of season 5 overall, maybe in relation to some of the other seasons, and then we're going to give our top 5 worst episodes and our top 5 best episodes. So I'll throw it to you, Jeremy, in terms of overall season 5. Now we've seen some ups and downs when it comes to seasons of the X Files. How did you feel season 5 was in totality?
Growing up, or all of this time leading up to doing this, I had always felt that season 5 was one of the best seasons.
Mm.
After having reviewed all of it, it wasn't as bad as season 4. It wasn't as good as season 3. It had some shit episodes. It had some good episodes, but it was just kind of a middle of the road season for me.
Okay, I think that's fair. That's largely what I think as well because I went back through and I was just kind of like refreshing my memory on all the different episodes. There were certainly some bangers that we're going to talk about, but I don't know if it was because there were 4 fewer episodes this season than there normally were because, of course, they were filming the movie. That it just felt like most of these were just kind of like there. Like it wasn't, a bunch of standout stuff. There are a couple we will talk about in our best of, but I also didn't think that there were just tons of absolute awful episodes. I feel like most of them were watchable. They were just not to the level or quality that I have come to expect. And I think one of the things with X Files is when they hit, it's so great that you want them to hit all the time. And then if you get a bunch of episodes in a season that are just like, it was fine. Never going to go back and kind of like rewatch that again anytime soon. Then it just kind of feels like it's more blah, even if the
Mhm.
episodes aren't necessarily awful, if that makes any sense.
I certainly didn't get to a point like I did in season 4 where you and I were watching a few episodes in a row and I'm like, I'm just fucking done. I'm so desperate for something worth
Yeah.
watching. Like there was none of that in this season for sure.
Yeah. So I guess I mean that's a positive for this season that it wasn't season 4 for sure. It certainly didn't hit the lowest of lows of like some of the stuff in season 1, like space or anything like that. So it's an okay season is how I would review it. I'm really looking forward to season 6 though because I do remember a lot of really great bangers in season 6. I think that Bermuda Triangle episode is in season 6. Do you remember that one when they go back in time and they're on the ship?
I don't.
Oh, you don't remember that one? It's all shot in one take. You don't
Sweet. All
oh,
right.
wow. Okay, yeah, I can't believe you don't remember that one. Yeah, so there are some really cool episodes in season 6, and I think they got a lot of money, after the movie and everything, so I think, like, the budget really went up, as of season 6, but
While we're talking about the future, why is it that over the last few episodes that we've been recording, I keep remembering that there's this episode about a giant mushroom that was underneath the ground somewhere in Oregon that sucks Mulder down into these caves.
a giant mushroom?
Oh yeah, a giant fungus. You
I
know
don't know.
what?
I don't know. Like, I don't remember a giant mushroom fungus sucking Mulder down into caves.
I must be fucking making shit up in my mind. It's like I could have swore by now that we've seen this episode and it hasn't shown up yet.
Well, I mean, the episode could exist. I mean, there were certainly episodes we've watched in the past few seasons where we're like, we don't remember that at all. Um, so yeah, maybe it could have been. Now, here's the thing: like going into season six, let me see. I think what season six came out in 98,
It
99.
is. It is in the sixth season. It's an
Oh, okay.
episode called Field Trip. Okay, I could have
Okay.
swore this episode already happened by now.
Okay, so like season six was probably the season of X Files where I started to like not watch it as frequently. Like I would watch it, but it wasn't like a religious sort of thing because when the show started, we were kind of like pre-teenish, and it was like, hey, what am I doing on a Friday night? I'm gonna watch X Files, whatever. But then we start getting into high school and you start getting distracted by other things, and we can travel to places and go do things and concerts and hanging out and stuff. And there came a time when I just stopped watching X-Files as frequently as I did before, and it starts at some point in season 6 for me, because I would have been, I think, 17 when season 6 was going on. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how much of season 6 I remember. I do know that there are a bunch of cool episodes in it though. So yeah, I look forward to this mushroom thing because if you as soon as you said the word suck, if he gets sucked down, I'm probably gonna be all in. So okay, let's get into our top 5 worst. We always start with our worst and we go to our best. So go ahead and sort of would you like to kick this off, or do you want me to kick off the worst list?
I think I normally start it, so why don't you start it this
Okay,
time, Matt?
cool. All right, so my number 5, and again, as we kind of mentioned, there wasn't tons of just awful episodes. So some of these I'm kind of caveating with the reason why I'm putting on here is because of a specific feeling. This was a disappointment. So my number 5 I'm putting in is it wasn't an awful episode, but it was just so disappointing to me because the first episode that this was based on was an all-timer, and that is Kitsunagare, where Pusher comes back. And now there's one scene in there's awesome. The dude who's all covered in blue paint, the cerulean blue and everything. That's awesome. That'll be something that's always stuck in my mind. But I was so disappointed with like how they brought Pusher back, and the whole thing with his sister also having the same brain tumor and his sister doing the exact same thing. That I don't know. This is more disappointment for me than it is. It's just a terrible, crappy episode. That character was so memorable, such a great villain that I feel like he got short shrift in this episode, and the focus being on the sister, it was just not what I wanted to see to a follow up to an all time, cerulean blue is like a gentle breeze. Um, Kitsunagari is my number 5, just for the disappointment factor in it.
I'm not surprised that it's on your worst of list, but I
Why is
will
that?
talk more about that later.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, you're number 5.
My number 5 was the second of a two-parter for was a Dana Scully heavy episode, and the second one that made my number 5 slot was Emily.
Ah, yeah. I was debating whether to put that on mine.
I I this was a lot of closure stuff for what both of these episodes, and I don't I just didn't like how they wrap things up. There was a lot of episodes, we've talked about it in the past, where the first episode might build up to in a two-parter to something, and the second one just completely flags out
Yeah.
and lets just falls on its face. And this was definitely one of those. It's because the Scully's like biological clock was ticking trope. I hated it, and this was just an extension of that. So yeah, yeah, I it's
Not a fan.
hard. It's hard to point at any one thing out of this
Yeah.
episode other than I don't remember a fucking thing about it, and
Well,
I
that's
was
the thing. Like,
disappointed I had seen it a second time.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like it's supposed to be a very important episode because it's Scully's weird, I guess, alien hybrid daughter, and she dies in that one, if I remember right. That's where the daughter
Mhm.
dies and everything. I had completely forgotten Scully even had a daughter when
Yep.
we started reviewing. I mean, it's just kind of like it's an episode where they wanted it to be so impactful that they kind of like overdid it to the point that it became forgettable.
Mm. They also it this was another couple of episodes that Mulder was a dick throughout the whole
Oh
thing.
yeah,
How he shows up late to the funeral at the end with flowers to give her a
yeah,
ride. The weird sand pile with the necklace in it. The snowstorm thing. Like,
yeah. No, no, I agree. It's just one of those. Yeah, not a good episode, for
all
sure.
right, all right. What is your number four?
My number four is one we just watched fairly recently, the Pine Bluff variant. So this was, of course, Mulder going deep undercover with a bunch of domestic terrorists and the bio weapon. Um, I hated pretty much everything about this episode. I think except for like just the cool bodies in the theater. I hated how Mulder was treating Scully. I hated the fact that he wasn't acting like everything was normal. Like he was intentionally going out of his way to be a dick to her to get, I guess, to get her to start investigating. Like, oh, think that he's a bad guy, which doesn't make any sense at all. Um, there was no real answers to much of anything in this. Like, who is August? Mulder says, "Who are you?" Does he come back? Maybe he does. Maybe he comes back in season six as like a new Deep Throat or something. I don't have any recollection of that guy. It just felt like it was leading up to a big finale and a movie coming out that was like, this is the episode you give us so close to when the movie is about to drop. I really wish it would have had some sort of myth arc stuff in it or something. It doesn't. Pine Bluff variant. Really dislike this.
I mean, I don't hate it that much because again, it was just one of those episodes that your audience is a bunch of morons and you need to be reminded of A, B, and C before we get into the juicy stuff
Yeah, hate that. I hate that. You're number three or four. Where are we? You're number
again.
four.
The first of the two-parter that I just got done talking about, A Christmas Carol,
Ah, okay. Yeah,
because it was so ham-fisted right off the bat about the daughter shit, the biological clock, the I want to be a mom, I don't want to be a mom
yeah.
thing. Um, we also never got closure for Dana's hot ass sister getting murdered, and that was kind of like given lip service in this episode, and I was upset about that because that chick was a weirdo smoke show, and I miss her. And I'm not gonna rehash everything. It was a
Yeah,
two-parter. The first one was worse than the second one, and I'm not gonna retread ground. I just
yeah.
hated both of these episodes. So they made
Gillian,
my number four, number five.
yeah, Gillian Anderson did a good job in those episodes at the very least. Just acting wise, I thought. But
Oh,
yeah, those,
she never acts bad. Not anymore. She doesn't, or
yeah,
didn't seem to in this season. But
yeah. So my number three might be controversial for you. I don't know. This may or may not be on your best or worst. Redux, the season premiere of this season, and the reason why I really kind of thinking back on this, because I don't know if I gave it an overly negative review when we did it, but just kind of thinking back on it, I really despised this whole season long, or I guess it wasn't the entire season, but two-thirds of the season of Mulder not being the Mulder that we've come to know and love, and basically believing everything. There are no aliens. It's all been a big hoax. I've been played and all this stuff. And just, I can understand from a character perspective why the writers wanted to do that. I don't think it needed to last like 15 episodes of the season. And that whole thing starts here. And I just really, really dislike it. Especially coming off like the season finale of season 4, where he's dead, Mulder's dead, right? And it's like, okay, we'll figure out what was. I thought the reveal of him still being alive was not that interesting, and it just starts this whole arc of really, I don't like Mulder a lot in season 4 or season 5, and I hope that gets rectified in season 6 because, like you said, he's an asshole for so many of it. He's just an asshole, and it starts here. So Redux season premiere fell flat on its face for me.
It wasn't the best season opener, no. But I lumped it in with my forgettable mid episodes. I didn't. That one did not make my worst 5. What made my number 3 slot was schizogeny.
Oh,
Schizogeny. Um, it it was an episode that they were trying to talk about troubled teens and their relationship with their families, and it's just I connected with my younger self, like the kid in this episode, the edge lord. Like we
oh,
all
yeah.
knew that kid in our friend group, and we kind of felt bad for him if we weren't him outright at times here and there. And it's just the kid tried to play that he was tough, and he wasn't
Yeah.
really tough, and it was just ew. And then you have the weirdo sped teacher doing stuff. The tree root shit was
Oh,
really weak.
yeah.
Like we'd seen better scary tree stuff in Poltergeist. So if you're gonna do that, do that. Don't no, not with bloody roots and shit. Weirdos in the woods with axemen and
Yeah, no,
yeah.
that's fair. I won't say much about that because it may or may not show up
Okay.
a little bit later.
But
Uh,
the bottom note on it of that entire thing, I pulled it up, is I understand what they were trying to communicate in this episode, but I actually hated it. This is how I outroed that one. So
okay.
yeah,
Okay.
not good. Not good for me.
So my number 2 is an episode that on paper should have been incredible, because arguably my favorite writer, in terms of novels, wrote it. Stephen King, Chinga. We're talking Chinga the Killer Doll episode, and I remember when because I don't know if you noticed Stephen King's name pop up at the beginning. I think when we recorded it, you weren't aware that Stephen King had actually written it. At the beginning of the episode, where it says like written by Stephen King, I was like, "Holy shit, this is gonna be awesome!" And it was the opposite of awesome. It was so boring and dumb. The only saving grace that it had with it was Scully trying to go on like a solo vacation, and her kind of interaction back and forth
Mm.
with Mulder was kind of funny at times. But the whole idea of this like doll talking to these people, and like, who is that girl where her hair, her ponytail gets caught in some sort of like blender in the restaurant or something, and her head goes in. It was awful, like Chinga. I'm a person who's very
Forgiving.
forgiving of killer doll things because I love like Puppet Master and Child's Play. Like I love killer doll stuff. Not this one, and I don't know what happened with the Stephen King aspect of this, but this just fell flat. I think they like kind of rewrite some of his stuff too, if I remember from the fun facts or whatever. But yeah, Chinga was awful. That's my number 2. Did not like it.
I I just had a note. This didn't make either of my lists, but man, Scully at the very beginning with the top down Mustang and the main shirt written on her shirt, man,
Yeah.
she looked so good,
Yep.
so good. But anyway, let me see. What is my number 2 worst episode? Kitsunegari.
Oh,
It,
right.
it made my number 2 slot because again, cerulean blue, something you and I have quoted back at each other our entire adult lives.
Yeah.
This episode was so bad, I forgot that they had a sequel to the cerulean blue guy. I guess put it out of my mind for some reason because it
Yeah.
was just it. They took an amazing character, an amazing bad guy, and an idea that probably could have worked. Maybe I like redemption arcs. I do. This was not it. It
Yeah.
sucked. Get it out of my face. All
Yeah,
I gotta say
yeah,
about that.
yeah. Pusher was such a classic episode. Eventually, when we get through season 11, whatever, I want to do just kind of like our like top 10 all-time favorite X-Files episodes once we've seen them all. I'm sure Pusher will probably be in the running for top 10 for me. And yeah, it's bad. It's such a disappointment. I guess I won't say it's bad because we've seen really bad episodes of X
Oh
Files, but
God,
just
yes.
such a disappointment for what it could have been. All right, my number one, schizogeny. I just have the Killer Tree episode. Ugh, there's nothing about this episode that warrants any discussion at all. It's such a throwaway filler episode, and it is made even worse by the fact that there are four fewer episodes this season than in previous episodes or seasons. So it's like the filler episodes stand out even more, and this is total filler episode. This is like I am a sucker for like the monster of the week episodes. I love them. I absolutely love them. And this was like a nothing burger. This was so stupid, and like them being kind of like pulled down like the quicksand sort of thing. It was so stupid, so stupid. Can't make trees scary in the X Files. Hated it. That's my number one. Schizogeny.
My number one, we just talked about it very recently.
Don't say the Bugman.
All Souls.
Okay. You said the Bugman episode. I'm quitting.
That episode was,
Yeah.
again, I'm not gonna knock on Dana Scully's ability to act. She is a fine actress, but they had a unique thing about, the clash between good and evil that could have been really, really interesting, and instead they just didn't lean into it. And there's so many holes in it that are just like, what? I don't like the religious episodes normally, and this one was a classic example of why.
Yeah. I was less harsh on it than you. Um, but yeah, it was one of those things where it's like I thought it was good ish, but it could have been. I think we both said it could have been incredible had
Oh,
they gone a certain route, and
the
they chose.
potential for it was awesome, and that's why it got so high on my list. Is
Yeah,
because if you're gonna do it, fucking just do it all the way. Stop pussing out at the last second.
for sure, for sure. All right, well, let's roll into our best episodes. For the people who are watching, please feel free at any point to put your best and worst down in the comments. Be certainly curious to what you guys think. But rolling into the best, I guess number five for me is what we just watched, The End. Now, no matter how much I bitched about on that episode last week about Chris Carter, Gibson is the key to all the X Files. I'm like, what? How? Why? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Fucking Chris Carter, he's just got some sort of magic hold on some of these myth arc episodes, and I can't explain how or why. But I was just totally engaged with it. It was probably of all of the Myth Arc episodes this season, definitely my favorite one. And so, yeah, I'm stoked to watch the movie next week and just kind of like revisit that because it's been many, many, many years since I saw it. But
I
yeah, The End.
I
I
can't believe a Chris Carter written episode made your top five. This is a rare thing.
It is. It's a rare thing, and somehow like a lot of them are bad. Like he doesn't write them well, but sometimes he just gets the magic dust. I don't know how he does it, but he is the creator. I always like to say like I'm a huge fan of Star Wars, like gigantic fan of Star Wars, and George Lucas made a lot of stupid decisions, but he's the creator and he made a lot of really great decisions as well. And sometimes when he has a great decision, it's like you've pulled me back in, man. Chris Carter did that. I'm super stoked for next week to discuss the movie. And so yeah, The End is my number five.
My number five is Fully Ado.
Ah, yes.
It was a very good Monster of the Week episode. It had a lot of sweat. it had a lot of good acting from everybody that was kind of a centralized character. The only real gripe I had with it was busting that tank through the wall. That was kind of,
They wanted a big set piece.
yeah. That was kind of stupid. But all right, whatever. But anyway, number 5, Folie à Deux.
Okay. My number 4 is Kill Switch. This is like the killer AI one. And I thought that I don't remember what that first AI killer AI episode was in season 1. Um, in that bank or whatever. I can't remember exactly where it was. But I remember not liking that. But this one I thought kind of fixed everything. I think William Gibson wrote this one, if I remember correctly, and I think that shows in the writing of it. I thought the characters were unique in this one. I love the fact, just as a fun aside, that the AI is still alive in Nebraska, which is which was fun to me. But yeah, I just this is one of those like I am not a tech person, as Jeremy can attest. Like I hate technology. I don't understand technology. I'm at work and someone's trying to show me like a new system or something. My eyes glaze over. Like I just hate it. But for whatever reason, Kill Switch really got me on board. I liked the sort of like neuromancer type thing going on. I liked the fact that this AI was like firing missiles from space to try to kill people, and I like the idea that the crazy goth chick who was in uh, Bleeders, which is a fun horror movie if you had not seen it. Incest with pickles. I like the fact that she uploaded her intelligence to AI. We get the lone gunman in here, and she's making fun of them. And I really like Kill Switch. That's my number 4.
And it almost made my top 5. It's a solid 6 in my top 5. So I was with you.
Okay.
I like the lawnmower man kind of
Well,
stuff going
and
on.
Scully going full Matrix. That's awesome when she does all of her ninja kung fu on the nurse and stuff like that. That's all awesome. I just love that.
My we're at number 4 now.
Yes.
It was Patient X.
Oh yeah, that almost made my list.
It
Almost.
was, I believe that was a two-parter. And if I remember right, the second part completely ruined everything that happened in the first episode. But if you just take it as a standalone episode, it starts with Krychek and the Russians, a bunch of people in a traffic jam on fire. There's that Russian kid who had his eyes shut, is
Yeah.
sewn shut because the black oil like leaks all over the place, and it looked really, really good.
Yeah.
Scully is out at that bridge when the aliens show up and just start barbecuing people.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah. It's really really cool. Gosh, now that I'm kind of thinking about it, maybe that should have been my favorite sort of myth arc episode of the season. I think I still like the end better.
And
But
was
yeah,
better. Yeah.
yeah, I do like the visual imagery of the bounty hunters and all of that stuff going. So yeah, that's a fine choice. My number 3, Folie à Deux. I love this. I like my top 3. I absolutely love. Like these are the ones I absolutely love. I love the giant bug running around sucking whatever he's sucking out of these people to turn into zombies. Absolutely love it. I love all the sweaty telemarketers freaking out. This gets back also to that classic Mulder and Scully sort of believer skeptic sort of role, where Scully doesn't believe any of this bug stuff, and Mulder's like, it's a bug man. I see him. I just now Mulder should have been fired for sure by the end of this episode.
100%.
But yeah, I love it, and this has the sort of like the open ending where they classic X Files style where the monster is still alive. Like they think they've stopped the monster, but the monster's still alive out there. And I really hope that season 6 has a Bugman part 2. I would love to see that. So yeah, I want to see what was his name? Pisky Fly or what? I don't remember what that guy's
Pinkus Fly.
Pinkus Fly. Yeah, I want to see what Pinkus Fly is up to. So yeah, number 3, Folie à Deux.
My number 3 is, let me look it up here. I gotta
Drum
pull
roll.
up my notes. The
Ah,
postmodern Prometheus.
yes.
A fine episode that is incredibly sketchy about rape, about
I laugh, but
involving
it's not funny,
share.
but yeah.
I laugh. No, it's funny. That episode, like that episode, is so incredibly problematic, and people use that word fairly loosey goosey, but
Yeah.
that it begins with rape and ends with the resulting rape babies. But
Yes.
they were trying to do something different. They involved Jerry Springer type stuff and the comic book stuff and the Dr. Peterman or Mr. Peterman being a mad scientist, and
Yeah.
that it was good. There was uh, other than the you got to put aside, you got to remember the times and put aside that whole,
Yeah.
other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play bit? The episode was just fine.
Yeah, yeah. And I'll sort of piggyback off of that, just rolling into my number two, because my number two is the postmodern Prometheus. I'm a sucker for black and white. I love black and white. And the fact that this was all shot in black and white was great. I love comic books, so the whole comic book, the great mutato aspect of it all was fantastic. And the only reason I couldn't put this as my number one was because when we watched it, and you pointed out the very problematic nature of how this all
So
goes
bad.
down. Because when I was a kid watching this, or like younger, I guess I wasn't a kid at that point. I was probably like 17. I wasn't even that wasn't even on my radar. Like I wasn't even thinking about it in those terms. Then you get older, you learn about what the world really is all about, especially in this day and age. And then you rewatch it, and you're like, I almost feel gross for really liking this. Like, should I feel bad that I really
You
like this?
should. You should
Because
acknowledge that you feel bad.
yeah, it's not great in terms of what it's saying, but man, it's just so kind of it's entertaining, man. It's like funny, it's entertaining. But yeah, you have to go in with the caveat that it's saying something very disturbing and not cool. But they do it, they package it up in such a way that it's just a very memorable episode, and I like the idea of kind of what they're doing with like the old universal movie monster like Frankenstein and stuff, and you get that really great lightning that's flashing and everything, all those dramatic close-ups of all the like Mr. Peterman and stuff like that, and you get the humor and comedy between Mulder and Scully throughout this. It's a great episode with a fatal flaw, but it's still my number two. I can't put a number one. I'll go number two.
All right. My number two, and this is probably not going to be this. I'm guessing this is your number one now that I've heard your list so far, but Bad Blood.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
is. I remember the chunky kid getting, or like the seeds being thrown on the floor, and he's like, "Why you gotta do that, man? These, why can't we get more episodes like this in a season? I would be fine if like 4 episodes a season were tongue in cheek. They're poking fun at the audience. They're poking fun at what they're doing. They're poking fun at stuff, but they're
100%.
also taking it just seriously enough for me to just get into. The episode was good top to bottom, and it's one of the few I could probably count on two hands how many episodes I remember. This was one of the entire series, and this was definitely one.
Yeah, yeah. My number one is Bad Blood. And I 100% agree with you. So many of the comedic X Files episodes are beloved because this show deals in all this serious stuff so often that it's like some of this stuff just by definition is absurd, but there's also an originality to it, right? Like these are actual like vampires, they're real vampires, but they don't have like fangs. So it's like this kid is trying to pretend that he's like a fanged vampire, and it's got that sort of originality to it. I love the kind of dual perspectives where they're talking like the first part of the thing is Scully's perspective, like Luke Wilson, right? She sees him as like the
Oh
dreamiest punk
God.
ever, and then when Mulder's telling this story, he's got like the buck teeth and everything. And it's just it's so funny seeing
Uh,
their different perspectives of the same X Files sort of event of what they went through. And yeah, it's just oh man, it's funny. It's entertaining all the way throughout. It's got so many not even just memorable as an episode, memorable moments and scenes throughout it. um, Absolutely love Bad Blood. It's fantastic. It's easily my number one.
and I understand why. I had a lot of trouble trying to figure out who where I should fit these two in my top two, but I ended up having to give the number one slot to the end.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah,
as far as the mythology episodes since the very beginning, this is the best mythology episode. And maybe it's unfair. Maybe I shouldn't account it because the way that I view this is one solid episode between this, the movie, season one or season six premiere. The story that they managed to tell, I remember it being so good, and I'm so excited to see the movie. And at the end of season four, beginning of season five, I did not. I was worried that things were just going to
yeah,
go straight to hell. But I remember so much about this episode. It just it was a big thing. It was
yeah,
the series ending going on to a movie like nobody had. I don't think anybody had done that. Star Trek had movies out, but they didn't fit their movies into the show itself. Or it was just another story that happened to happen to those people in that universe. But delivering this in order, and then it was it was just something new, and I just remember it being so important to a younger version of
yeah. And I think what's cool about the end is we were both. I think you to a much bigger extent than I. But as we were watching the season, we're like, oh man, like I felt bad for you when you're like, I don't know about watching the movie. Like I have such fond recollections, but the season is just kind of dropping the ball. It's cool, like that this episode has made us like stoked to watch the movie. It feels like when we were kids again in a way, where it's like, oh man, this was a banger of an episode, and I cannot wait to pay my ticket, show up on a Friday at the premiere of this fucking movie, and watch it. Now it'll be. I'm curious to see how the movie holds up. Like, will the movie quote unquote stick the landing from this episode? We shall see. But yeah, I can't argue because I know you're a big myth art guy. Like I think what's kind of cool as we're watching this is like you said, I'm more of like the monster of the week guy, and you're more of the myth art guy. So when each one of us gets one of those episodes that we really really love, I think it's so fun to kind of like listen and kind of how you were discussing the end and how it impacts you and stuff. It's cool. It's very very cool. So that's it, folks. That's our top five best and worst of season five of the X Files. Do you agree with us? Do you disagree? Leave a comment down below. Let us know what your favorite episodes were of the season. And then, yeah, stay tuned next Friday because we're going to talk about the movie. And I don't do you remember much of anything about the movie? Like
me.
how much is in
Yeah,
your mind?
a lot of it, man.
Okay. Okay. I'd certainly remember parts of the movie, but in terms of like the whole thing all the way through, I don't remember all of the beats and everything like that. So I'm excited to watch it. So with that, thanks again for listening. Hit that like and subscribe, and we will see you next Friday to fight the future, which we should be doing right now in real life. Bye, everybody.